Thank you, Zimbabwe, for tuning into yet another informative edition of your program. You are watching Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness in support of Vision 2030. We are here in the new season 2024, where we are looking at various opportunities that are presented within the agricultural fraternity. Today, we are looking at the horticultural enterprises that a Zimbabwean farmer can take advantage of and make a living off of them. We are looking at the peppers production success story. I would have said green peppers, but you would find that as we discussed, there are different varieties that come up with different colors in our peppers production, in our industry, right here in Zimbabwe. To discuss this, and I've taken the liberty of inviting a horticultural expert, Clemens Mcharedzeyi. He is with Sitco Vegetables. Clemens, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Hello, viewers.
As we get into our discussions, I would like to say compliments of the season. We meet again in 2024.
Thank you very much. Sure, compliments of the new season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, a brief introduction, Clemens, of the peppers. As I was introducing this episode, I almost said green peppers, but it would have been an injustice because we are standing next to peppers where we have, of course, the green, but also the yellow, and behind us we have the red, those that are turning red. Can you talk to us in terms of a brief background, a brief synopsis of peppers production in Zimbabwe?
Thank you very much. Here in Zimbabwe, mainly people, they grow the OPVs. That's why we commonly call it green pepper. Okay. But as you can see right here, we have got the yellow, we've got the reds. So commonly it's known as green pepper because many people, they grow the OPVs, which are normally harvested as green, because normally when they leave it to try and change the color, maybe to red, it will start going bad. Okay. So it's commonly known as green pepper. However, over time, we have some new varieties that have been coming in, and people have now appreciated the coming in of the new varieties, which will now turn from green to yellow, from green to red. So those are the colors that we are now saying people should have. And remember, the yellow or the red it is, the better the aroma, and also the more the vitamins and minerals it contains.
On that note, Clemens, I want us to dive deeper into our discussion and look at those varieties that are available for Zimbabwean farmers. I understand that not every farmer in Zimbabwe is capable or have the financial resources to have a greenhouse. We are standing in a greenhouse, but some of our farmers are producing peppers in the open field. Can we talk about those varieties, outlining them and differentiating them from green peppers that can be done in a greenhouse and those that can be done in an open field?
What we have come up with, or what I've noticed over the time, is that these breeders, they now have varieties that can be grown both in a greenhouse as well as the open field. And remember, farmers, they are taking it as a business. So for you to get more money from it, remember, if you go to the market, you see that the colored peppers, they sell better in terms of they have a better price than the green ones. So the common known as green pepper is California Wonder. It's open pollinated variety. It is a good variety, but for those who just want to do it at the backyard. For someone who wants to do it commercially, they now do hybrid varieties that can be done both in a greenhouse as well as open field. So I'll now categorize them as the yellow and the red, because they all change from green to red and green to yellow. Okay. So on the yellow, there are three varieties that actually can be done. There's Springbok, which is a very old variety, which can be grown both open field and greenhouse. This one is an indeterminate variety, meaning to say it can be grown over a long period of time. It keeps growing, but however, it has a limitation if you are doing it open field. Okay. Because of the temperature changes. It now depends whether you are in a low-lying area or you are in upland where you suffer frost and all, so you cannot actually grow it during winter season. So if you are doing it open field, it is limited as to number of months that you can actually grow it. So on the yellows, we have got that Springbok. We also have Solana, which comes in with a very bushy, it is a dense leaf that covers the fruits. It's a very good variety. It's actually specifically for open field because it covers the fruits away from the sun. Remember, sun is the major challenge that we normally face when we have peppers. Then lastly, the new variety that is available here, we have got this one. It's actually called Legacy. Okay. It's a very good variety, this one. does both in greenhouse as well as an open field.
Okay.
So it turns from green to yellow after a certain number of days, that is 85 to 90 days, it changes color. Then moving on to the red varieties that are available on the market. There's a variety that is very old as well, that is known, that is a Hercules. It's a very old variety, but it does very well. It's a semi-determinate or indeterminate variety. It keeps growing for quite a number of months that a farmer can actually be harvesting. Then there's also another one that is a red prime, which is a determinate variety, but some they can call it semi-determinate. It now depends with management. So if you're good with your management, you can actually classify it in the semi-determinate. Then lastly, on that red, those that turns green to red, there's one called a Geva or Jeva, whichever how you want to call it.
Geva.
Yeah, Geva. That one is really a good variety. It gives you a very blocky fruit and very thick skin. And lastly, on that red, there's another one called Foka. It's another red that is available on the market. So these varieties, they normally differ in terms of the fruit size, fruit shape. Those are the major characteristics and the number of leaves that will cover the fruit. So those are the lines that can be done in the greenhouse or open field, and whoever is doing them on the open field or greenhouse, they actually are taking more money. And remember, the issue to do with the indeterminateness.
Okay.
Yeah, remember on the market, if you look closely, you will check that from September right up to November, there will be a shortage of peppers. How do you see that? You see the price changes in terms of the market.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's no continuity after winter. So those with greenhouses, kindly do these varieties, especially the indeterminate one, that is Jeva or your Legacy. They do very well, so that you keep supplying onto the market, whether you are in winter, whether you are in summer, you keep supplying continuously.
Now we are looking at days to maturity, from transplanting up to harvesting. What are we looking at?
From transplanting right up to start, say, first pick, we say from, if you want to take it as green, from 75 to 80 days, it would have reached the good green color and blocking. But now for it now to change into the yellow color that you now see here, we are now looking at 85 to 90 days.
Okay.
Or for it to turn into red, it is now 85 to 90 days. So it needs more days to change color.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is it. And in that same regard, you now say, for those who want to sell it as robot, there's no paper really that you can say, I want to buy this variety to sell specifically as green. So what you can do, you can now pick if you want to sell it as green, yellow, and red. Yeah, so you now take those that are big from either yellow or the red variety, that you can now say the green, then you take the yellow and the red, then you sell it as a robot.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Clemens, for such a detailed presentation. I didn't know that you can arrange and color coordinate your papers into a robot. The green for go, yellow, which represents maybe amber, then the red for stop, which is amazing, an amazing marketing strategy. On that note, viewers, we've come to the end of the first segment. We're going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the second segment. Stay tuned. Thank you, viewers, for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness. Today we are in 2024 and we are looking at papers production in Zimbabwe. How you can successfully set up a papers production enterprise at your farm, be it greenhouse or open field. Now, viewers, we encourage you to be a part of these conversations. Feel free to get in touch with the producer, Wadzanai Manyore, to 0772-807-506. Alternatively, you can like our Facebook page, Agribusiness with Wadzanai. Make a follow-up on this episode and more. And leave your comments and suggestions. They are most welcome to us. Our YouTube channel is Agribusiness with Wadzanai. We are also now available on X, formerly known as Twitter. It's at Agribusiness 110. Clemens, we are here in the second segment. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, Wadzam.
Yes, I want us to talk about the duration or the period that this greenhouse can sustain these paper plants from establishment up to, you say, maybe these plants are now redundant. They are now obsolete. Let's destroy them and establish a new plant. What are we looking at in terms of days, weeks, or months from establishing your papers up to, say, richabereki?
From day of transplanting right up to first peak, we are talking of 90 days. In this case, we want it to turn green to yellow and green to red. So from there, from the point you start harvesting, you can actually be harvesting for the next 8 to 10 months, depending with your management. That is one. Number two, depending with the variety. Here I was talking of legacy. This yellow variety is an indeterminate variety. It is also there the issues to do with indeterminate and determinate on peppers. So the indeterminate, like this one, you can actually be harvesting for 8 to 10 months, as well as the Java, you can be harvesting again 8 to 10 months of harvesting. So that is sort of depending on the good agronomic practices. So after that 10 months, you can actually be removing it. Remember, it's very difficult now to layer this crop. It now differs with tomato, where you may have to pull it down, but as for pepper, it's a bit different because it remains a bit rigid. It's difficult now for you to try and pull it down. So after 10 months or so, it will be high up there. Ooh. So you can actually be removing it so that you can come in with a new crop. After all, after 10 months of harvesting, you would have gotten your money, because if we had actually more time, we can actually be counting. I think we can create some time to say how many fruits have we got here. You'd see there are so many fruits, and on this each plant that has 3 stems here, you can be having at least 5 kgs here. So if you now say 5 kgs times whatever the amount that is actually prevailing on the market right now, after 8 months, you would have actually taken out your money back and make more profits.
Thank you so much, Clemens. Getting a bit deeper into the management style of green peppers production or peppers production within a greenhouse, beginning from water application, what is the most effective way of applying water or irrigating your green peppers within a greenhouse?
To start with, in a greenhouse, we are better off with the drip irrigation. Where we say if you irrigate maybe once, especially in winter, you can do it once, but in summer you can come in twice with water, where we do not have to over apply it, but you just apply twice. Remember, during summer there will be lots of evapotranspiration that will be taking place, and we don't want to have a shortage of water. Remember, the fruits will start to suffer. You start seeing some sun scouts as part of moisture stress, as well as excessive heat in here, and it starts aborting the fruit. So applying about twice, and you'll be irrigating using, depending on the kind of irrigation, drip emitters that you have. There are some that apply 2 liters per hour. Just 1 hour of irrigating is enough, maybe once per day. If it is in summer, maybe twice a day.
In terms of fertilizer application, what are we looking at? What are those essential nutrients, macro or micro or elements that are important and crucial when it comes to peppers production?
Yeah, we start from transplanting, where you come in with your trenches, your fertility trenches. In that fertility trench, you should apply manure. It could be chicken manure, but mainly we recommend cow manure. It's actually good. Chicken manure, it has lots of AN, nitrogen, not AN. It has lots of nitrogen, so it promotes more of vegetative growth at the expense
beautiful leaves. At the expense of the fruit.
Yeah, very true. So in those fertility trenches, after soil test analysis, but without soil test analysis, that we strongly recommend that farmers should do, you can now use the blanket application rate, where we are saying per plant in your greenhouse, we be applying a rough rule of thumb, where we are saying 100 grams of compound C per station. That's what you apply as basil at transplanting. After which you come in with your ammonium nitrate now at the early stages, like 3 weeks, where we just want it to get some foliage and go. After that, we now come in with calcium and potassium. Calcium, we really need it. It's very crucial in these crops. Remember, we really need to look at a glossy, nice, shiny skin. So calcium, it is really very important, so that we also do not suffer BER, blossom end rot. It's quite good. Then we also need this deep color that you also see even on the leaves. We now talk more of potassium. Those are very key elements that you really need when you are doing. So you'll be saying this week you were coming in with calcium, following week coming in with your potassium. Then coming on to the foliar sprays, the organic fertilizers that we have. Yeah, those ones are very key. They are very important. They've got micro elements, nutrients that do not that are not available maybe in the manure or in the basal. They may not be enough or sufficient for the crop for it to grow well. So it has molybdenum, zinc, those micro elements that are needed for the goodness of this crop, for it to also give more flowers. So those foliars, they can be done, but they do not replace the issue to do with the conventional fertilizers that you use.
You cannot ignore the granular fertilizers that we are used to.
Yes, you cannot.
There you heard it, viewers. We are looking at peppers production here in Zimbabwe, from the green pepper, yellow pepper, it can even turn into the red pepper. Now, viewers, you would find that as we were discussing, we were looking at the use of fertilizers, be it synthetic fertilizers, our organic manure, and even the foliar sprays that come in as supplements. On that note, we are going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the third and final segment. Stay tuned. Thank you, viewers, for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness, in support of Vision 2030. Today, we are educating one another in terms of green peppers, or peppers production rather, within a greenhouse setup. I understand that it is an investment, but from what Clemens here was telling us, he was saying that a green pepper or a pepper plant within a greenhouse can even go up to 8 to 10 months with non-stop harvesting. You'll be harvesting throughout the different intervals throughout the season, meaning that you'll be making money. Even in periods of shortages, you will be having an advantage such that you can fetch a higher market price compared to those vanenge vasinama peppers acho. So at this point in time, Clemens, we are here in the third and final segment. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Looking at insect pests and diseases that are a menace, can you highlight for starters the chemicals that are common, or the active ingredients that are common in chemicals, and also those insect and pests and diseases that you would want to highlight that our farmers need to understand to ensure that they are producing a healthy pepper crop?
Sure. I'll start with the pests. The common pests that we normally have with peppers, it is bollworm. It's actually a menace here. So a farmer is encouraged to come, and a bit of aphids here and there. We experience them. So, and leaf miner. They normally, you see them. Those, I think, are the major pests that you can actually be experiencing here in a greenhouse with peppers. So coming in with chemicals like thunder, belt, they actually do very well in controlling such bollworms. Then onto the diseases. Yes, remember, it starts with a good variety that would have chosen. You highlighted there. So a hybrid, it actually resists some diseases, and they also have some intermediate resistance to some diseases. So that's how you also first control the diseases. However, there are some diseases that will always come, even if it is a tolerance to it, it still comes. So powder mildew, down mildew, those are some of the diseases that we normally encounter in a crop like this. So coming in with chemicals, fungicides like Ridomil Gold, those with azoxystrobin and difenaconazole, they do very well in controlling such diseases. And a farmer should be coming in routinely to check whether there's a pest, whether there's a disease that will be there in the greenhouse. So there's not much of a challenge if you keep coming in and do some scouting. Yes,
okay.
True.
Can you talk about ways to curb post-harvest losses, the shelf life of these peppers, and even those conducive environments or places that you would say that if you are going to harvest your pepper and place them up, they might have a longer shelf life? Can you talk to us in terms of that?
Thank you very much. First things first, how to curb post-harvest losses. Number one, never grow a crop without a market. Yeah. So normally farmers, they will try to now look for a market after growing the crop, and the crop is already ripening. You want to harvest, and now trying to find where can I go and sell this product. So first things first, you should look for the market. That is number one. Number two, it now has to do with the variety. We keep coming back to the varieties, because remember, this variety, how does it differentiate itself from the California Wonders, like that variety that I was talking about? It has a thick skin. So this thick skin, it also means it lasts longer. You can actually go for 2 to 3 weeks in a very good room temperature. As yellow as this, it does not go bad. So that is number 2. It really has to do with the varietal choice. Then number 3, as a farmer, if you are doing it big, you should always have a shed that is with a cold room, where you can actually be keeping some of your produce in case you go to the market there and there's a glut in the market. So you can actually be having. Then you should also look for other markets that you say you may not be servicing them, but you should be aware and in good relation with them. In case where you normally supply, there's a glut. You can always say, I have got this excess produce, can I kindly bring? They may be actually in need of it. Then lastly, you can actually dry. You can make good mfushwa mixed with peppers. It actually gives a very good aroma and good taste. So that is how you can actually preserve it, and that's what we also encourage farmers to do. Never throw anything away. Try to add value, and that way you would have preserved the money that you would have otherwise thrown into the dustbin.
Now, Clemens, as we close this segment, I want you to talk to our Zimbabwean farmers in terms of markets. What does the market expect when it is looking to purchase these peppers?
I'll take example of this pepper here. The market needs something that is medium in terms of size, because ultimately it goes back mining at the kitchen.
End of the day.
Right. So what they need is something that can be used and finished in on the same day. Right. Number 2, some markets like the supermarkets, even some of the musika, they prefer to panet this. So it should not be too big, all right, and it should have a shape. You see some peppers, they are shapeless. They have got
they are big and shapeless and round.
Yeah, so you cannot be able to pan it
or place it in a tray, because on some trays.
Exactly. Yes. So it becomes very difficult. So when you have a pepper like this, as you can see, it's blocky. Which is quite good, and you like it when you look at it, because normally what you do when you are looking for anything, you have to like it first before you actually purchase it. So a small or medium sized pepper like this one, it ranges from 230 to 280 grams. So when you have it like this, and what we have also noticed is that the new varieties that are coming in, we're talking of continuity on the market. Farmers, they also choose the varieties that keep growing as you go, especially with a booty or a greenhouse like this. It means you keep supplying onto the market. So if you keep supplying to the market, having a uniform crop like this, the better.
Just as we close, Clemens, in a snippet, can you talk to our Zimbabwean farmers? Kuneva vari kuendesa mapepers ava vachinyaso ziva ndakabva spraya nezuro mushonga urimo maybe uri kunidha pamwe 3 days kuti unyatsopere. People are doing zvinhu zvakasiyana siyana kutsvaga mari. Nditsiurirewo mafarmers iwayo as we close.
Farmers, ichi chikumbiro to you, chikumbiriso kuti nhasi ndiwo uri kuendesa mushonga kuti umwe munhu anodya. It is very bad. Mangwana, it will be you, because you be a pepper grower, but possibly you don't grow cover, you don't grow tomatoes. So how would you feel the next farmer will be selling the same produce to you? So kindly, let's always observe the post-harvest interval. When should you come in and harvest the produce after? And also remember to use the green labeled chemicals. That's what we normally recommend, because they normally have a 3 to 4 days harvesting period after spraying. So let's use those green labeled chemicals. They have got less harm to humans as well as the animals should they consume the produce. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Clemens. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you very much.
On that note, we have come to the end of this week's edition. From me, your host, Odzanai Manyore. I'm also on Instagram. It's a W Manyore, and the crew behind the scenes. Have yourselves a fabulous evening. Thank you for watching.